Hey, what's up, Next Level crew? Welcome back to another episode of What's Your Next, the podcast that helps you explore business and franchise ownership. And today we have a really important topic as a whole, but it's trends and key insights and opportunities as they relate to franchising.
Welcome to What's Your Next. This is the go-to podcast for aspiring business owners who want to get to the next level, escape the rat race, and give their middle finger to the corporate 9-to-5. If you want financial freedom, work-life balance, and the business of your dreams, you're in the right place. Dave and Stacy Riska, husband-wife franchising duo, openly share their successes, failures, and lessons learned in franchising, business ownership, and working with your spouse.
And rather than just, explain this, I think it's probably important that we just ask some questions and have a conversation regarding this. So, Stacy, how is technology shaping the future of franchises? Technology trends, we'll call it, shaping the future of franchise, because that's the hot topic that everybody really kind of gravitates to is technology. So, what do you think?
I think that there are a lot of trends impacting the world of franchising because we get a lot of calls and emails and people commenting here on our videos. What are the hottest franchises? What's trending? I want to get into technology. I hear everything's AI, right? And so I think today we're going to have this little internal debate here of trending versus trendy franchises and what you should consider. Because yes, there is technology and it's great and franchises are using it to their advantage to get a competitive edge, but it can also be trendy. So what are your thoughts on it since you work in the world of technology?
Well, with relating to technology, I'm not sure that really encompasses trending versus trendy. I mean, there's obviously a lot of trends in technology. I know the big buzzword today is AI, robotics, so on and so forth. I think those are real trends. Trendy would be more around things like the hot marketing platform of the week, right? Whatever that happens to be that's gone in 2 years. So that's kind of the difference there. But I think, this is a topic a little bit bigger than that, right? It's what kind of franchises out there today are available, not necessarily the technologies they're going to implement that are trending versus trendy. And this gets down into specific topics that are very important to people today, like sustainability, recurring revenue, things such as that. So it's a little deeper than, just looking at, even though the hot buzzword today is technology, there's so many franchises out there today that aren't technology related. They implement technology that can be trendy or trending. But as a whole, it's more important that, you look at the universe and see what fits into those two categories. But before we jump into my next question for you is that we have a free resource for you. You can go, it's in the show notes below. There's a link. You can go to our website and get it. It's called Franchise Forward, Top Franchise Models Trending in 2025. It's a quick read. We'll give you some really good insights into exactly what we're talking about here. What are some of the trends in the types of franchises out there today that are trending versus trendy? Right. So it really talks exactly on this topic. So sustainability, obviously a big topic these days. Why is sustainability becoming such a major focus for franchises?
I hear it all the time, even in our neighborhood. People are really more concerned about sustainability. They just don't want to take stuff and put it in the dump. And so it's more about being eco-friendly and saving our planet. It's a big topic of discussion nowadays. And so franchises, they've been listening. And so they are incorporating sustainability into many of their services. For example, we work with many different home cleaning types of franchises. And so you would think, well, what does sustainability, have to do with that? Well, many of them are now offering eco-friendly cleaning services. And there are many franchises that literally focus on sustainability, where they will come and, let's say you're downsizing or cleaning house, and they will take what you feel may be old or not needed anymore, but they will take it and then they can repair it, refresh it, resell it, and or donate it. Repurpose it, yeah. Right. And we even have some great franchises that we work with that literally, and we just did one, Dave will put in the show notes, they transform from something that's old and beat up to new, taking over 100 different surfaces that you know, vinyl, plastic, granite. It's amazing. And something that was old and beat up and you're thinking, oh, I'll just throw this away. They make it brand new again.
Right. Cabinet refacing, same thing. You know, rejuvenation of, you know, old cabinets that, think about it, the wood there's nothing wrong with it, right? Just not modern. You know, and they'll modernize it, refinish it, and you can't even tell that it's not new cabinets. And it's probably better anyway. Great topic, right? You know, sustainability is obviously a big thing in today's market space. And this is kind of around sustainability, more of us as humans. And that is, what's fueling the growth right now of the health and fitness health and wellness franchises? I mean, there's tremendous growth within the number of franchises available in health and wellness. What's fueling this? What do you think? Yeah,
we're seeing a lot more franchises come into this space that are related to health and wellness. And that, I think, just ties into some of these trends that are happening. Many of them are referenced in the book that Dave mentioned, Franchise Forward, Top Franchising Picks for 2025. And health and wellness is definitely one of them. And that's because people are more focused on their health, their mental health, their physical health. And so whether it's a franchise that relates to fitness, there are so many now that are more boutique oriented. There are franchises in the fitness space that cater to people 50 plus. There are franchises that cater specifically to helping kids learn soccer, you know? So there are many more, I think, hyper-focused in the health and wellness space. There are these new technologies, whether it is, not cryogenics, but there's beam.
Cryotherapy?
Well, yeah. And so there's IV drips, and there are all of these sauna and light technologies that just help you feel better. And so these are really trending and becoming more popular.
Yeah, definitely. We see more and more all the time. And, you know, again, health and wellness is obviously super important. And apparently here in the U.S., we need it.
Here to stay, I think.
I think you're going to see these trends continue to grow. Before we jump into the next thing, which is recurring revenue models of franchises and why these are a trend, let's talk about some trendy types of things that are kind of on the way out. I mean, what's trendy that might be something that, you know, we're not discouraging you from in any way from doing this, but when they're trendy, that just generally means they come and go. So what are some things that maybe we've seen over the years that have been really trendy?
Right. So candidates come to us and they'll be like, oh, I heard that this franchise is trending, and so I want to get into it. And so you can there are so many examples from the past where we would say, don't do it. So think about frozen yogurt, right? There were quite a few concepts in the franchise space, and it was trending. Everybody's like, oh, frozen yogurt, so much better than ice cream, and you can have all these toppings. And so all of these frozen yogurt stores opened up. And now I bet you don't see any in your neighborhood. That's trendy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a funny story around that is that I went to go get my hair cut, and the lady that cuts my hair, she's getting ready to retire. And I said, well, what are you going to do? You know, what are you thinking about doing in retirement? She said, oh, I think about getting a frozen yogurt. I was like, okay. Yeah. So anyway, there were dozens and dozens of these all over our area. And now, you know, there's maybe a handful, right, left. They've just all kind of disappeared. So again, it's hard to tell sometimes what's trendy versus trending. it's more important, I think, that, you look at the type of franchise and the industry that it's in than any specific franchise to focus in on these two topics, because, you could put frozen yogurt under health and wellness, I guess, kind of, right? But on the flip side of it, it was something where, people's tastes change. I've seen it so many times. Pizza's hot one month and then hamburgers are hot the next month, and it just rotates around. So that's trendy. That's trends that go up and down. All right, so let's talk about a type of franchise that, is definitely becoming more of the trend in franchises, and that's recurring revenue franchises. And a lot of people nowadays are looking to get into business and franchises where there is some type of recurring revenue base. Do you want to share a little bit about what are some of the essential services and recurring revenue models out there in the franchise space?
Yeah, you're right, Dave. This is definitely something that's trending. So many franchises now are looking for ways to incorporate recurring revenue. So instead of just being a commodity once and done, they're looking for ways not only to personalize the experience, but to build in ways for recurring revenue. And there are whatever the category is, there are many in the home services space. Fitness is an obvious one. Health and wellness, you go and get your massage, and instead of just getting one massage, they'll build it into a membership model where now you can come in every month and get so many massages. And if you want to upgrade, or they'll sell the retail products along with it. So instead of more than just a one-time massage, they found ways to build in recurring revenue and personalizing the experience.
Right. Didn't one of the coffee shops do that, like Dunkin' Donuts, where you paid a membership fee and you could get a coffee for $1 or something?
Oh, I think Panera tried that.
Oh, maybe it was Panera. Yeah. Okay. So even some of the food service franchises are mixing that in or trying that in their model. Not a bad idea, right? I mean, it can definitely increase loyalty, for people to come back and return if you give them a reason. So even in those types of franchises, we're seeing recurring revenue models kind of move into some of those models as well. So it's a big topic, certainly a topic that's near and dear to me. I, really appreciate and love recurring revenue models for any type of business. It just kind of flattens out that revenue, spikes that you see, where you can kind of, make it more of a consistent revenue flow than a feast and famine type of revenue flow that a lot of businesses have, particularly when they're starting out. So, all right, so this is some final takeaways here. This is a fun episode. What should aspiring franchise owners keep in mind when it comes to the topic of trending versus trendy?
Right. So I would say, look at the trends are more like what's happening in general in the economy, in your community, where we're going as a country. What are you hearing about in the news? What are your neighbors talking about? Now, this could be a trend, or this could also be trendy. Where I think you cross the line into trendy is where it's almost FOMO. People are just rushing to get in and not really looking at the business sense or the financial sense and do the numbers really work. They're just doing it because Bob got in it and he said it's great and it's going to be sold out if you don't get in it tomorrow. That to me is trendy. So what you'll find in our free resource, Franchise Forward, the top franchise picks for 2025, these are trends. These are where these are long-standing industries that are going to be around for the long term. They're not trendy, but on the other hand, because they're trending, they are popular and they could sell out quickly. So if you want to learn more, what should they do, Dave?
They should reach out and contact us. We have our information below. And while we're there, get your free resource. Get our free resource on trends versus trendy. And while you're there, click on the like and subscribe. It really does help us in the YouTube algorithm. So great episode. A lot of fun here today talking about trends versus trendy. We really appreciate you joining us for this episode of What's Your Next. We'll catch you on the next one.